Dan Fazio, Mr. Dante Pena, champ. There he is, Mr.
What's poppin'?
Dante.
What's poppin'? Happy New Year's, y'all. What's going?
How you doing, Dante?
Bro, I'm good, bro. I was in the gym today and I was like, man, I'm trying to look like Dan Fazio. So I went hard and now I'm sore.
Hey, let's go, let's go.
Damn,
Oh,
like sound a
hey.
little zesty this morning.
Sounding a little zesty. Oh man,
Sound a little zesty this morning.
I don't know about all that. Hey, I think
Hey,
I,
hey,
I think Dan's feeling good about himself today, huh? Dan the man, he's
Dan, man.
cashing out, man. I just got back from the gym right before the call. I did a quick prayer. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fill that void that I've been talking about a little bit. And I think that missing piece is my connection with God. I think maybe I need to focus a little bit more on that
I can see that. I can see that being an option for sure.
for sure.
For sure.
But
Man,
one
y'all
way,
have a good New Year's, bro? Did you have a good New Year's?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm here, man. I'm alive.
So Carmen and I were watching this video of Rio de Janeiro and the fireworks show, and we were like, man, I think if John is in Brazil next year, we should definitely make the trip to Rio for New
Let's
Year's.
go. Let's go. 100%. I am with it.
Guys, I want to do a dope announcement, by the way. We got the Creative REI Experience podcast. We're going to be filming live today.
Let's go.
And we got our guy, Tony Mott, the Dispo Daddy himself, coming into the studio. So you guys want to do live Q and A's with Tony Mott, right? I know. Here's the thing, and I like to do this for especially the new guys, right? A lot of us we spent, I've spent close to 50 to 100K in mentorship. Um, I've spent a lot of time paying for courses, and so what I like to do with the Creative REI is get some of these guys on the show and ask them the questions for free that a lot of y'all probably can't afford to do. So if you can make it to the live and do Q and A's and ask questions, feel free to try to do that because I think it's definitely going to be worth it when we get them live today at 2 p.m. Pacific 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 Standard Time.
There you go.
I throw the link in the chat.
Hell yeah. Definitely tap in and support. Well, what's this? We got a camera turning on here. What's this morning? Dan must be feeling himself this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, man.
There he is, man.
You know,
There he
you know,
is.
we're not gonna start. We're not gonna start the year off, man. Moving federal, man.
Oh, all right. I like this. I like this. Where's Bob at, man? Good morning, Bob. How you doing today? We got Mr. Casco in the audience. Man, we got heavy hitters today. We got heavy hitters in the building. Bob's gonna rejoin us, I think. You already know, man. You gotta get the year right. You know what I'm saying? We're starting off the year top G. Let's go. Been inspired. It's time to get back on it. Been in the gym. Already went today. Built the habit. We're gonna stick with it. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Bob Sadai. Check it in. Here we go. Let's
Tremendous
go.
Tuesday, everyone.
Bob, we got a buyer yet or nah? He backed out. He backed out, didn't he?
That guy backed out, but I got one more that showed up today, this morning.
Let me know, man.
Yep, will
Let
do.
me know.
Yep. How you gents doing?
Good, man.
How's your
Excited.
New Year's Day?
Fantastic.
Dan's a new man, y'all.
Awesome.
Dan is a new man. Look at this man. This man is a new man today.
Listen, man. I'm 100%. I'm 100% my own man. As of today, I'm 100% my own man. Like we got no more partnerships. The clinic is entirely mine. So my own business, my own brand is on its way. We'll be launching this month. So super proud of that. Everything is following under my name. Um, Man, we got so many things happening. Uh, just to start off the week, dude, I spent $20,000 to start the month of January hiring people and putting in new systems in place. So we completely jumped on. I have an expert technical team that I hired last week, um, that is going to help manage our softwares on the back end. We have a complete onboarding team that is now going to handle all of our clients for us 100%. So that they're going to do that all the whole entire week. Um, we are I have a 24/7 now support staff that can talk to anybody from around the world at any time of the day, any time of the night. We're implementing a chat widget this week inside of our software. It's going to be able to handle all of our issues, everything, talk to everybody, get back and forth with everybody. And so, man, like we spent a lot of money. We've been spending some money, and I've, I'm putting everything I got, into, you know, uh, to start the new year off right. So we got a lot of money just tapped out just in payments, just in payroll. You know what I say? Like, my payroll bigger than most people's bankroll. So, um,
Hey, don't play with this, man. Don't play with it now.
so we want to make everything, like, we want to keep leveling up the game for all of you guys. We're keeping the price the same. We're not changing the price of what we have to offer. We're keeping the price the same, but we're leveling up the value. So
Congratulations, that's fantastic.
thank you. Thank you.
100%. Man, we got a full house today. I love to see it. Love to see it. Guys, I got a deal. Jason, I appreciate you joining us today because I want to talk about this deal. I've been kind of distracted, just
Look at that
doing
crisp
stuff.
camera footage.
Right?
I don't want you guys to miss out on this five head. So I want you to see it in HD.
I covered mine with the beanie.
I'm exposed.
I got you, Bob. I got you. Let's get it. All right. So I got a deal, a potential deal. They want 8,000 per acre. It's approximately 97 acres of land, and there's a comp just right down the street. It's got way more road frontage that sold for 20,000 an acre. So I'm thinking, there might be an opportunity to make 2 to 4,000 per acre on this deal. I sent them the novation agreement, and then today they sent a email replying, um, with a few questions about the agreement. So this is something that I think everybody is going to run into when they're sending out novations, and I want to kind of highlight what I'm going through right now so that people can see, how we actually overcome these objections, what we say to these sellers, and how we ultimately get it locked up, right? Because that's what we got to do. So I sent over the novation agreement. Guys, if you don't already have the novation agreement, reach out to somebody who's actually actively doing novations. I know that Dante does a lot in terms of novations. Bob, I think your team does a lot of novations. Dan's team does a lot of novations, and Jason's team is starting to transition now for like land novations. So reach out to people that are up here and the people that you see in the chat, and bring them a lead, bring them a deal, and they're going to get you the contract, right? This is not a contract that we want to just kind of throw out willy nilly because this is big business. This is no joke. This is not like wholesaling. Like, this could get regulated very quickly, I think. And if people are not practicing this correctly, I think it could cause some serious problems. So we want to make sure that the people that have access to this kind of material, know what they're doing. So with that being said, the seller said that they have a few questions. Number one, are you wanting to buy the property or market it? If you are buying, then points 9 and 10 and pages 5 through 8 are not necessary. Once you purchase the property, any marketing is no longer a concern for us. Number two, the land is 8,000 per acre, and there's also a house on the property. They say that they want $75,000 for the house. They ask if I'm interested in the house with the property or if I'm just purchasing the land. They said if you purchase the house too, they need 60 days after closing to vacate. So this is a topic that I want to hear, what everybody thinks about after we finish this up. If we do not purchase the house, they need 180 days after closing to move the home off the property. They say during this transition time, the property can only be viewed by appointment only because the property is gated. Then they ask, are you or anyone within your organization able to come view the property in person? I feel like seeing the property will clarify information. Thank you. So that is where we are at today. What do you all think?
Like it.
Dan likes it. All
Think
right.
Sounds good.
I think that regulation coming, like I said before, regulation coming to real estate is a good thing. It's not a bad thing for the most part. It's 80% good, 20% bad. Um, there's always more opportunity to make quick cash and everything right when there's no regulation. But I think that if you're coming into this new year, what you have to be prepared for is like if you're not coming into this new year with the mindset of I want challenges simply because I want to be the best version of myself, um, then I don't really know what you're doing here, to be honest with you. Like that's the truth. Like you have to like you should want challenges and you should want to figure out how to solve them. Because I will say this, like if you're working with a realtor, would you rather have the realtor who's been through, an economy up and down, went through 2008, been in before 2008, went in after 2008, still selling houses, still been successful, still never lost a check, still never went down, still being a realtor that whole time? Would you want to work with them to sell your house, or would you want to work with the new guy that just started 3 months ago? That's he's maybe he's done a couple big deals, but he just started maybe 2 or 3 months ago, or maybe you want to work with a person who came from a position where they kind of just they just kind of sell houses here and there when shit's easy. Like, what realtor would you want to go with? You'd want to go with the person that has been through the hardest times of the market and has continued to stick around, has continued to, weather the storm. Um, Here's the deal: if you're trying to do cash deals in real estate for 2024, you might as well go do something else because this is not for you anymore. This is no longer a get rich easy game. It really was never easy, but it was definitely easy for a lot of stupid people to make a lot of money for a long time. It's not that game anymore. It's not that game anymore. This year is a completely different economy. We saw the complete, introduction of it at the tail end of last year. If you're getting into this game because you're looking for a simple way to make money, then you need to go do something else. Come back to this when you have some experience. Because this is not for you right now to start making money in today. This is a game where you're going to have to learn the actual skill and understand the market, understand sellers, understand the process, understand how to work with title companies, how to work with attorneys, how to work with, you know, um, everyone associated, realtors, and everybody involved. If you don't want to learn how to do all that, and that's something that you feel like is too much for you, then you got to go do something else because you're going to waste your time for the first 2 or 3 months, which you could be making money. And how you start off your 2024 is going to propel you and is going to determine how the rest of the year is going to go. So don't get into something that you're not prepared to put the work into and start learning right away. If this is something that you feel like, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna make money in this business right off the bat, you're not gonna do it. Not right now. It's this is a whole new game, a whole new era. So, I encourage everyone who's in here to really this is a time where you need to become a professional in this business and you need to learn what that means if this is something that you really want to do. But if you're trying to do cash, if you did cash last year and you notice that your business got slower at the end of the year and you're still going to try to do it this year, good luck. Good luck. You're not going to do any deals, especially with everything. Tell the board, hey man, if that discourages
All
you,
right,
then this is
listen,
not for you.
listen, Dan, listen. I think what you're saying is absolutely right. You've got to be able to evolve and pivot in the business. With this objection specifically, how do you think we should handle the seller's objections and concerns so that we can get them on board to sign this agreement?
Well, I mean, I think that entirely depends on you. You have to. Yeah, well, good luck on making any money in your life, Alan. You know what I mean? If that's
Hey,
kind of
hey,
the that's the mentality that you hit.
real quick, before we go over your objections, Dan's right. Okay, so when I started full time wholesaling in 2018, the game has changed a lot since then, right? It was way easier for me to pull a list from a foreclosure list online and skip trace it, and I could make a list of maybe 100 properties, probably get one into a deal. Now you're pulling lists of maybe 5 to 10,000 that you're cold calling that you might not be able to even get a deal from. Not to mention your conversion, which means you getting to the closing table and making money, is based upon your ability to close. And a lot of y'all are jumping into this with no sales experience, no people skills, none whatsoever. So I think what he's telling you, it's real. It used to be easy. It's not easy. The game's too saturated. You got every guru and their mom on TikTok, on Instagram saying, I got $10,000, $20,000 checks and I'm making this and I'm making that, blah, 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 blah. And so I think what he's saying is it's not as easy now. And I think if you want to make it, I actually just had a famous influencer. This guy does stupid shit on TikTok. And I had just talked to him about transitioning his TikTok over for doing maybe something real estate or business. And he decided instead of partnering up with me, he wanted to do this on his own. And one thing I'm going to tell you is you cannot do this on your own. You need other people. You need other people. Dan's building his business. He's not doing it by himself. He's got other people that's helping him do it. He even said it himself. He got a payroll. So if you think you're going to try to make it in this business, are you going to get a deal? Yeah. Is it scalable? Absolutely not.
There
Absolutely
you
not.
go.
It's
That's the main thing I was going to talk about. You're
squad
absolutely
up.
right, Dante.
You
Yeah,
got to squad up.
absolutely.
Yeah, but it's no, what
It,
I'm
it,
saying is it's no longer a hustle. It's a business now, like everything else. It's an industry that is with regulation means you have to become a professional, right? Like there's a reason that you can't just get into medical, right? Like there's a reason you can't just go pick up tomorrow and get into medical. But like 30, 40 years ago, you could sell testosterone out of the back of your car, but you can't do that anymore, right? So it's
Right.
like there's a reason that that wasn't illegal back then. But it's the fact that you're getting into this now where it has to be an actual business. It has to be an actual profession. There's no more room left for people if you want to have a go pawn couches or fix a couch and sell it on eBay type of mentality.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. If that's the mentality, if you're coming in here to hustle, you're not going to succeed in this because you're going to get outdone by the professionals in the business like Bob and Dante and John and Jason. You're not going to be able to compete with them because you're trying to come from a position of, TikTok University. It's not going to work. Like they're not teaching on TikTok the things that you need to learn in order to be successful in the climate that you're in now. If that's something if that discourages you from wanting to be successful, then I don't know what is for you. I mean, that's got to be a mentality shift, 100%. So we're not here to discourage anybody. We're not here to tell anybody you shouldn't do this. I'm telling you, I don't want anyone in here to waste their time. That's all I want to do. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm trying to
He's more like
protect
setting the
people and their money and
expectations.
their time.
You're more like setting the expectations. Would you agree? I'd say
Yeah, 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 yeah.
setting the
Like
expectations to be
I'm
like
just
minimum.
telling people like what's real, right? Because it's like you get it on TikTok, and a lot of people will tell you everything that you want to hear, and then you'll go and spend your money and wasting your time and doing all this stuff. Versus, I would rather you guys, if that's something that you're not ready for, I'm like, I want you guys to save your money, protect your time, come back to it when you have the time and have the money to lose if that's something that's available. But if you don't have time to lose, if you don't have money to lose, and this is something that you need to jump forward right now because you need to start off this year with a bang and you have no experience in this industry, it might not be for you right now, right? Like protect your time, protect your finances, protect your whole ability to continue to succeed for the rest of the year because you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time to come back to it or to learn on your free time, right? But if you need to start off this year with a bang and you don't have any experience in this industry, then this might not be the right time for you to jump in at this very moment. gear up with somebody, maybe go work for someone else's team, learn how to do acquisitions, maybe get in with a John or a Bob or Dante or, a Jason or somebody like that, right? Get in on somebody's team who needs someone, learn the acquisitions process, right? Of how to actually talk about the things that John is mentioning in that contract. Learn that process on someone else's risk and someone else's dollar, and then kind of provide value back to them by helping them lock up more deals. And then maybe you'll stick with them and maybe you'll grow with that team because you'll like that, possibility, or maybe you'll want to go out and you'll want to do your own thing. Either way, again, you don't risk time and you don't risk your own money, because if those are not things that you can risk right now, there's other things that you probably should go do instead. That's all I'm saying.
I think you got to risk your time, no matter if you're risking your money or not. Though I think you have to, especially if you got no people skills. You got to learn how to develop those skills, and to develop those skills,
Yeah.
it takes time. So look, guys, this is not an overnight thing. I think that's really what everybody on the stage is getting at. Is this TikTok stuff? It looks like you just do a couple things and cash out a $10,000 check. It's not like that. Everybody up on the stage. This is not our first year doing this. We've been doing this every single day. Thank you to Bob, Mr. Bob Sadai, pulling up every day, Monday through Friday, this whole last year. We're going up to this new year. This is another year. We're getting into it, and we're only continuing to grow, only continuing to improve. So this did not happen overnight. I did not become the person that I'm becoming overnight. This is a process. But I think what's very important for everybody in here that is interested in the path is to decide to commit to the process, to commit to see it through, and not say, hey, well, I'm going to give myself 90 days or 3 months or 60 days, or I need a deal in the next 30 days. I got no experience. I need to cash out 10 bands in the next 30 days. Say, I don't care how long it's going to take me to get my first deal. What's important is I'm not going to give up until I've got it.
So Ed, if anybody knows Ed, it took Ed 6 months to get his first deal, and it was multiple contracts that fell through. So I don't know if Ed's in here, but Ed now runs my operations for me. Okay. We run a team of like seven, which some of which were recruited from here. And so when it comes back to what Dan and John are saying, like squat up with somebody, learn something. But most importantly, guys, we're all good at something. Figure out what you're good at and then use that in this industry. So like I got a guy, he doesn't have the sales skills, but he's got the following that we could use to try to market, so use that. Ed's kind of working on his closing, but Ed really goes hard in systems and process. So when you start figuring out what you're good at and you bring that value to somebody who might need it, and then you're a part of a team, what I like to say is my guys, they work with me, they don't work for me. So if you go and get it with us, like we're gonna all get it together, and it's obviously like I don't win unless you win. So it's pretty much on me to make sure that you do if you were to come on board, right? But you also got to put in the time. So it's not just me carrying you. It's, we're all figuring it out together at the same time.
That's a
But
sign of a
objective,
good company. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a sign of a good
Objective,
company when they're working with you. Not you're working for them, you're working with them.
right.
So it's very, very important to pick a company that understands that selfishly, right? Selfishly. Me, Dante, Dan, John, Matt, Jason, we all are selfish people, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? We selfishly help you people, okay? Because we know that your success will ultimately, indirectly perhaps, mean our success as well, okay? So there's nothing wrong with that. This is a two-way street. We're holding a hand out saying, hey, come work with us and we'll help you achieve whatever your goals are, hopefully, or get close to it. Perhaps you'll pass us. Hopefully, you'll pass us. Okay? The goal isn't to keep you guys down. The goal is to make you understand. And as Dan and Dante have been, telling you guys all morning, learn skills, okay, to become better and better. And who knows, you may become better than us, and there's nothing wrong with that. We encourage you. I encourage you. Matt Riley, Happy New Year, buddy.
Here
Where
he
have you been?
is.
You've been
Happy,
hiding.
happy
The,
New Year, big dogs and big
the,
girls, whatever you want to say. Happy
yeah,
New
the myth,
Year.
the legend.
Didn't use the word for
Jason
female
realized I
dogs,
didn't.
huh?
Jason realized I didn't think that one through as I got halfway.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the type that likes to stick it out regardless. So happy New Year, big
He's the
dogs and
Pat
big girls.
McAfee of the crew.
Yeah. I love me some Pat Mac.
You still recovering from New Year's? How was the celebration,
We
Matt?
are we are recovering
Whenever
slower
when,
than I.
whenever someone says big dogs, I just think of Jameis Winston. That's a solid thing. I think of Jameis Winston's speech in the locker room.
He starts eating his fingers. Yeah, dude's a nutcase.
If I discouraged you in the morning, you might need to stay on the porch with the puppies. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You might not need to go out here with the big dogs. Uh,
That's my guy. That's my guy right there.
There he is. Well, listen, guys, I want to really quickly go over these objections because I want to actually respond to the seller and hopefully get them to sign today. So I'm definitely open to hearing, what the audience has to say and what the speakers on the stage have to say as well. Just real quick to reiterate, their concern or their objection was they wanted to know if we were marketing the property or if we were planning to buy, and then they wanted some additional time to transition off the property after closing. So they want time after closing to move. So, with that being
This
said,
is
what do you guys
this
think?
is raw land or a house?
So this is like 97 acres of land, but it has a house on the property. They
How
say that
much
they
money are
want
you
Is it a
giving them?
mobile home, did you say, or is it a regular house or a mobile home?
the way that they're saying it, like they're going to move the property off the land, makes it seem like it is a mobile home. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure. I'm going to assume though, because of what they said there, it's a mobile home.
Do they need time
How,
afterwards because they need the money they closed on?
I'm going to assume that, but I haven't talked to her yet. I want to bring this to the.
I would ask. Yeah, is it because you need some of the money? Because if that's the case, I would prefer to just put up some of the money to have you gone
Hmm,
before closing versus a lease back, depending on which state you're in.
this is in Georgia.
Georgia, yeah. 10K holdback is another option.
10K on a almost $1 million deal
yeah,
probably isn't.
10K is not much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100K then. You're gonna hold 100K until you get out, or give them some of the money up front to figure out where they're gonna go. I mean, figure out what they need the money for, and I would say maybe just solve that problem. Um, I've done lease backs. I
What's
prefer
your
not to.
exit strategy, John? You're
What's
not
that?
planning on holding this, are you?
Well, I don't think that this is something that I'd be looking to add to my portfolio at the moment. So
Okay.
I would
So
like to
so
to
you're trying
slap
to
this
get
on the MLS.
you okay. So you're trying to just put it on the MLS, and that's assuming like an ovation, right? You're not planning on buying it and then putting it on the MLS.
Right. I prefer not
Okay.
to buy it.
All right.
But I have the
So
capacity
if
to
you're
because I'm in REI Rev and I'm around the right people.
if your goal is to novate this, right?
Mhm.
Dante, how would he be giving up money up front if he doesn't turn around and sell it then? Wouldn't he
Um,
lose that money?
sometimes. Wait, say that again. Ask me one more time. What you just said.
So his goal is to do a novation on this property.
Yeah.
Okay. If he's going to do a novation, which basically means he's going to put it on the MLS and try to find the end buyer for it, right?
Right.
What's if he gives the sellers any sort of money for them to move prior to the close of escrow? Isn't he putting his money at risk?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how could he protect himself from that?
Um, so we got a deal right now where the seller needed 5K, and we give you the 5K, but also, we need you to cooperate on what we need to do and help get this to the finish line. And so, after we gave him the money, this guy thinks that he kind of runs the show and all of that. Luckily for us, we got a promissory note, a note deed of trust, and a memorandum of contract all notarized. So, and then this guy decided he didn't want to close with us. he doesn't want to sell to us anymore. He wants to do this. And I was like, well, just give me back my money. Now he doesn't want to give me back the money. Well, now he's in a situation because the promissory note says if you don't move forward with what we're trying to do, you're going to end up paying me the money back plus 10% every single month. And it's not to gouge him for 10% every month. It's to make sure that if I'm giving you this money, I'm very serious about what we're going to do here. Okay. So I need you to be on the same page with me because if we're like what Bob said, putting our money at risk, I need to figure out a way to recover it, especially if I'm going to be using, somebody else's money, let's say a gator lender or whatever. So, the last thing you want is somebody to put up money and then they lose it because you didn't properly secure it. Um, so, this guy, even though he doesn't want to work with us, he's going to be in for a rude awakening when all that paperwork gets recorded and he's got to come back and face us. At this point, he was kind of being an asshole to me, so he lost access. He lost access to me. Now he's got to deal with the attorneys. They're like, so have the right people in place and make sure you get your money secured. So no deed of trust, promissory note, memorandum of contract.
There you go.
You can always do it in the form of a lien on the property too. It doesn't just have to
Yeah,
be a promissory note. You can do a mechanics lien, something like that.
yeah.
John, I would have a couple questions for them, and I would say, hey, one, it sounds like there's a concern whether or not I'm a serious buyer. Is that the case? And they're going to say whatever they're going to say. This is one that would probably make sense to double close, even on the novation side. So I would say I would make that my intent from the beginning if that's the concern. I'd say my intent is to close on the property. However, I don't have $1 million sitting around. Bank loans are hard to get. I have a group of investors that I go and I get this funding from. I need my broker to be able to market this to those investors and end users. And that's exactly how I would phrase it. It is telling the truth without giving away the farm on everything that you're doing, but explaining, yeah, I need to go get funds for this, and I need the ability to market this to my end users. Usually that'll do it. The other thing is just like Bob and Dante were talking about of, okay, is this a you don't have a place to go thing? In which case, maybe I can line up another property for you to move to. Maybe now you can get paid on two fronts, so you can be a solution solver for them. Or is it, yeah, they need the money so that they can afford to go have a truck come pick up a mobile or manufactured home, put it on a truck bed, and take it somewhere else. So you got to get down to the root of whatever that is. So if it's finding a place to go, that's awesome because now you might be able to solve that problem and you can line up the two and maybe even make money on both sides. If it's a money thing, then just like Dante was saying, a lien or a prom note, some sort of legally binding way for you to get your money back as simply as possible. Because you also don't want to spend 10K on attorney fees to go to small claims court to then be, I don't know if you've been through small claims court, but like you want to avoid that at all costs because even if
Yeah.
it rules in your favor, they're not going to garnish wages. It's up to you to go and get whatever you get. It sucks.
It's a
Like there's
pain.
almost, yeah, you're never going to get that money back.
Well, so I
The
tie it to the property. So if they try to sell the property,
correct.
we have to get paid first.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is correct, but it's mechanics liens only hold for a few years. Isn't that correct?
I don't know.
I think it's 10 years. Well, here in California, it's 10 years. I know that.
It's 10 years.
I'm not
Okay.
sure other places.
Yeah, I want to like
At least in California. I don't know
at
other
this
places.
point, I'm going to tie into the equity of the property because at this point, like we're putting a lot of time and resources into this. And it doesn't really sound professional when I say this, but if you fuck me, right, like and we're going to do everything that we need to do on our side. So if you just allowed us to do that, it could being completely transparent about what we're doing. But sellers every once in a while, no matter how transparent you are, they all of a sudden want to try to switch it. They want to try to control the situation, et cetera, et cetera. So this is kind of like, hey, you need to follow through with this, or then there's going to be some situation. So
Well, I got to say, that's the most professional thing you've said so far today. There you go. Yeah, I completely agree with what Jason and Dante are saying, John. And it goes back to the point of why we hammer so much every time that motivation. We got to know that motivation. Okay. Why are they selling? Okay. What is the reason that they want to get out of there? Why do they need the time afterwards? Where do they want to move to? All of those questions need to be asked in those first couple initial conversations. So when you find that out, you can actually help them with the real solutions too, like Jason was talking about.
Well, it's a price and terms thing. Look, I'm going to give you your price, and if I'm
Yeah,
going to be doing that, then
absolutely.
you need to work with me on my terms because I'm giving you exactly what you want. You need to work with me on the terms. You don't get both.
You heard what he
That's right.
said. Love it.
What
But
are
that's
some things you
exactly.
guys are doing for the new year? Are you guys implementing anything inside of your businesses, inside of your teams? Are you guys implementing any trying to change anything with your routine, staying the same? I'm curious to know what your all's.
I'll tell you right now because I'm going to take off. Mine is to be ruthless with my time. And I set 30 minutes every day for this show. So it's been 35 minutes. I suck. I'm going to get better at this, but I love you guys, so I can't leave as quickly as I want to.
We love you,
So
Bob.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Ripping
Take
off
care,
the
Bob.
Band-Aid. Just rip it off. uh, I'm assuming, Dante, are you on the phone? We'll make sure I'm not
Dante's.
talking over you and you think you're talking. Okay.
Yeah, he is. I think. Yeah.
Man, this is going to sound weird. My goal this year is to shut down 3 of my businesses to allow the ones that are thriving to thrive and shut down the ones that have bad partnerships and are not succeeding as well as I would have liked. All of them are making money, but at different degrees. Some of them require too much effort in hand holding for the amount of revenue being generated. So it makes more sense to shut those ones down, focus on the ones that are doing well, that doesn't need as much attention and time, but generate more revenue. So my goal is to shut down 3 businesses this year of like the 6 land companies that I have. Pour into those. Just like you guys were talking about earlier, the even in land, which is not saturated at all, but it is more saturated than it was. Like in
Hmm.
2020, my first mailer, I sent 300 mailers and I got 3 deals out of that. Sent another 150 and got another one. So like I was less than 600 mailers and had 4 deals. Even in competitive markets like Fort Worth, we sent I think 1,800 offers and got 3 deals. Those are crazy numbers. That doesn't exist anymore. Now I'm more like
Yeah.
1 in 3,500, maybe even 4,000 mailers to get a deal. We've started implementing other marketing strategies. I tried texting, it didn't work well for me. We're doing cold callers now, doing 3,200 calls a day on average. Um, when you're in the trenches and you're pivoting your business, and this is why it's important to work with the people that are up on the stage, is all the stuff you guys see on TikTok and everything that may have worked at one point, but those people are clearly not in the business because they're not pivoting. They're not in the trenches actually making dollars from this stuff. They're trying to make dollars from views and entertainment rather
Right.
than the actual
Selling
business.
their course. Their business got old, so they're selling their course.
Yeah, well, an
I
info
can't
product,
stress this
and
enough, man. I've seen so many
yeah,
people recently start up these discords charging $50 a month. They don't do deals. They have never made a dollar from real estate, bro. You've never
Just
done a
don't have an
deal. What do you have to teach anyone? You have not closed a
just don't have an
deal.
REI Rev charging the subscription.
yeah, well, but yeah, so being in front of a coach or people actually doing the deals, it's so apparent because you're going to get into those other places, which most people, oh, it's cheaper. I'm going to go try that other thing, and they go try it, and then it's like, oh, this is the information they told me was working 2 years ago and is no longer actually working. This is the stuff Dan was talking about, and I'm trying it, and it was way cheaper for me to get into, but I didn't actually make any money, so it actually cost me more. It's the same thing. Like one of the things that like the people I work with love is like guys, if I'm doing something it's not working in the land world, I'm going to sit here and share it with the people that I'm working with. Hey, guys, the mail count has gone up, so I'm going to create a marketing stack now, and it's going to go in this order, and here's why. It's going to decrease my spending. I'm going to hit more contacts. Okay, flipping cash flip, kind of to Dan's point earlier, isn't working as well. So now we're going to start looking at, hey, can we do subdivides? Is there a different market space that is more blue ocean, right? John and I had 2 deals that fell into our laps last year that worked out a certain way, and it's like, okay, now we can go replicate that because nobody else is doing that. Now we can be the first one in that space to be doing those things and showing you guys how to go do those. Um, you know, being at these different real estate events and creating the right network. But more than anything, like people actually being in the trenches doing the thing, like the exact thing that I'm doing today is not what I was doing a year ago. It's not what I was doing 2 years ago. There's a lot of similarities for sure, and there's still some of that going on, but it's like, okay, now I can do subdivides, now I can do commercial, now I can do novations, now I can do, like, you start adding all these different things to your tool belt over time, and being able to recognize when you need to push more into one space or the other. That's the difference between having a business and somebody who's just trying to apply this information that's going to sit there and struggle and go, this thing doesn't work. It's like, well, no, it still works, but you need to do it in a different way now, right? Whether that's houses or land or whatever. And so the fact that people up here are actually doing this business is going to become so apparent when you go anywhere else, and they're giving you the same old information that worked 8 years ago, that today you need to do slightly differently. Maybe it's innovation, maybe it's when you're going after land, looking at subdivides or entitlements, or looking at the zoning and getting rezoning or selling as one zoning versus the other. Like, these are more complicated things that you don't just pick up. It's easy to understand, that you need the coaching and the guidance on. And the only way to get that is to get it from the people who are actually in the trenches doing those things.
Absolutely.
Rant over. Sorry.
Right.
I see a lot of the other stuff.
I love it.
No, you're good.
Oh, man.
No, you're right. You're right. It's honestly, I think this industry, and people don't realize this, and they need to, is this industry is cyclical and there's windows, right? So if people that were on the hedge fund train, right, they were all selling deals over asking over 100% ARV to these hedge funds before the interest rates, started shooting up, and that was their business model. And now those guys are gone. You don't see them anywhere, and they were making the most money in the industry, right? So I try and I teach this to my guys every day. This business is cyclical. There's a window. You need to take advantage of the windows. Like John Johnson said, innovation is probably going to start getting heavily regulated really soon. So you need to take advantage of the windows that you have of when something's working. A lot of these people, they're, oh, I want to get interested in this, and then something happens in their life or an obstacle, and it makes them discouraged, and they want to, oh, let me try this later. Well, when you try it later, it might not fucking work. It might not work. So there's windows in this industry. It's cyclical. Stick to the windows, right? Take advantage of your windows, and when that window closes, learn to adapt to what's next, because that's what it is. A lot of these guys that are still doing this 2, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, or have been doing this 5, 10 years, they adapt to the windows. That's what it is. So,
Well,
That's all it
and
is,
the
guys.
market cycles as well. Like,
back.
I think people understand this, especially like like land is a great example. Like in prior to 2018, it was relatively slow. And so if you learn how to thrive during that time, man, you knew how to market, you knew how to get those properties, you knew how to move them. And then 2019, 2020, 2021 came around. Couldn't keep inventory. Like, I literally had zero inventory because I put something on the market, it would fly off the shelf. And so it became really easy to sell, but then hard to market because it was so much more competitive. And now we're starting to see these market cycles and swings. And so that's the other thing, is people being around long enough to see what works during those times and recognize what's going on in the market to make those shifts, right? Because people are going to come in and go, this is the one way, and then they do that one way, and then the market starts going the other direction, like in the cycle, and they're like, oh, this doesn't work anymore. Okay, I'm going to try that other thing, and then they start doing that right when the market starts going the other way. People are constantly playing catch up with old information. It's wild.
I think the bottom line is just like if you go to the gym on a consistent basis and you work out on a consistent basis, you always hate January because you don't hate the person that's coming in there that actually is motivated and determined to change their life and is going to show up and try to apply some type of work everything. You're not frustrated with those people. You're frustrated with the people that you know are not going to stick around and are hogging up space, hanging out, talking by the treadmill, socializing just because they think that they're doing something by going to the gym. It's the yeah. It's the same thing in business. I'm not here to discourage you guys. What I'm saying is don't be that motherfucker. Don't be the motherfucker that shows up to and say, oh, this year that I'm gonna change my life and I'm gonna make $1 million. Don't be that motherfucker. If you haven't made 100K, you should not be in here thinking you're gonna make $1 million this year. That is the dumbest thing you could possibly fucking do to yourself right now. And it's not that I'm trying to not motivate you to not go make $1 million, but it would be a disservice to me to tell you, like somebody on TikTok, that you're gonna come into this year with no experience, with nothing down, and you're gonna make $1 million this year. Is it possible? Maybe in a fucking string theory universe, maybe it's possible somewhere on the timeline, right? Like in some possible universe, maybe it's possible. But is it likely? It's extremely not likely, and you're not going to do yourself any favors with the ideology coming in thinking that's how it's going to go. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be like those same motherfuckers that show up to the gym every year on January 2nd. And they walk in the doors and they come in there and they pretend like they're going to change their life. But what happens when they don't get the results that they want to see in 2 to 3 weeks? They leave, right? Like they don't, you don't see them anymore. So don't be that type of person. Don't come into this thinking that you're just going to get a deal this week, make money overnight, and by February you're going to be a rich motherfucker. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. What I'm telling you is this is something that you're going to have to apply pressure to, and you better be serious about actually doing it. We don't need any more people in this community. We don't need any more people in real estate coming into an industry just thinking that this is the way to get rich. It's just an industry like everything else. Are there people who are rich in this industry? Absolutely. Is there an opportunity to make and create wealth in this industry? Absolutely. But you better be ready to do the work and not see it overnight. You better be ready to want to learn, to want to apply the time, and to want to go in and really be in this business all in. But this is not something that you're going to do the first month. And I don't care if you made 100K last year. If you made 100K last year and you did all cash deals, you better figure out what you're going to do this year because it's not going to be the same. And again, that is not here to discourage you. That is here for me to protect you from thinking that it's going to be the same way that it was last year. Because if someone on TikTok tells you that it's just going to be the same thing and you think you're going to do the same thing that you did last year and make the same amount of money, you're going to go out of business. So you better figure out what you're going to do. You better start to learn apply the pressure of what's required today. You don't have time. You better learn today what you need to start doing to innovate and get ready for what's coming in this industry, what's already here. So it's just like, I know a lot of you guys, if you did really well last year, congratulations. Just remember, we're not as good as we think we are when we're winning, but we're not as bad as we think we are when we're losing, right? You have to keep your mind in the middle, neutral, and congratulations if you made a good amount of money last year. I'm so happy for you, but you better figure out how to do it again this year, and you better be planning, because if you didn't do it last week, then you're already a week behind the rest of us. Because I already figured out last week what I had to do in my businesses to change, to level up, or to maybe to stay the same this year. So it's every year, everything is different. So don't think because you won last year that you're going to win this year. And don't think that just because you're getting started, because you saw somebody make a check on the internet, that you're going to be able to go out and do the same thing real quick and change your whole entire life overnight. You better be ready to really get involved. And hey, I'm here because I really want to be in real estate. I'm here because I really want this to be my business. I'm not here because I just want to be rich, because you won't last if that's your only mentality. Because you can get rich doing a lot of shit.
Three
You don't
months
need
from
to,
now, when they're grinding it out, waiting for that first check, yeah, you disappear pretty quick.
So
guys,
if you want to change
stick
your life, it's going
around.
to take time.
I love what that message is stick around, see the course through, and be willing, ready, and able to face the challenges that are ahead. Because there's this one quote everybody's heard: "Smooth seas don't make a skilled sailor." Let's get wet, bro. Let's go. Let's go into 2024 and let's get into the water. Let's start swimming, man. Let's start
And
swimming.
I have to tell students mine all the time. These businesses, these are simple businesses, right? The model is relatively simple. We're getting discounted real estate and we're selling it for a profit. It is simple but not easy.
Facts.
Right? The rules of any sport are simple. Soccer, football, whatever. The rules are relatively simple. Depends on what sport. But for the most part, they are simple. But it's not easy to go in and execute and do those things at a high level, right? Those athletes work every single day for hours on end. Kobe, like Mamba mentality, right? Like that guy would go in there and outwork everybody to play a relatively simple game. There's not a whole lot
Yeah,
of rules
there's
there.
a large difference between playing in elementary school and playing in the professional league. You know what I mean? There's a big difference, and it's because the years of experience and the years of repetitiveness. Just my whole thing is you shouldn't if you're here for this shit to be easy. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't want shit to be easy. And if you want somebody to tell you that making money is easy, then you ain't ever going to make any money. Because if that's the mentality that you're looking for, if that's the message that you're looking for, there's people out there delivering it. And they might have a lot of followers. But you know what? I would much rather in my life, to shout out Mr. Allen from earlier, I would much rather in my life tell the truth than to preach falsitivities and just have more followers. I could care less if people are following me from preaching bullshit. So I'd rather tell you all how it is and see you all get the most out of your life than to
Word.
tell you fake shit and then to all, well, I just gained a lot of traction. I gained a lot of popularity because there's a lot of those motherfuckers out there. It's not me. I'm not one of those guys. So, if you want to go follow them, there's a million of those guys. But I will tell you what, there's very few of me. There's very few of John Johnson. There's very few Dante Peñas. There's very few Jason Kakas. And there's almost no Matt Rileys in the world ever. There's absolutely no Matt Rileys at all. There is just one. There is just one Matt Riley.
Really
So,
sad.
if if you guys want to succeed, you have to be ready to hear the hard shit and say and have it not discourage you. Instead, you should hear the hard stuff, and that should motivate you more. That should make you want to achieve things more because you should hear the hard stuff and go, you know what I love more than anything else is I love a challenge. Because if you don't love challenges, then you should go work for somebody else or have somebody else pay your bills or go do OnlyFans because this life ain't for you trying to get rich running your own business. So, you have to love the challenge. The challenge should excite you when you see difficulties in the path. That should make you want to go harder. Step up to the plate. It's a new year, but nothing's changed. Life is still hard, motherfucker. So you better learn to get hard. If you're not hard, you better learn to get hard and stay hard because if you're not, then you're going to get pushed, you're going to get pushed to the ground, you're going to get pushed over and you're going to get, this life is not going to go work for you. So yeah, you gotta learn to look at challenges in the face and say because listen to nothing feels greater when you have a high challenge and you overcome it.
Yep.
That's the greatest feeling in the world. If everything
Facts.
was easy, we wouldn't get to have those moments. So welcome challenges with open arms. Oh, there we go. Discipline equals freedom. Field manual by Jocko. That's a great book, man. It's a great book.
Put in the work.
But
Well, who's
that's
ready to put
that's
in the work,
really what
man?
it
Who's ready to get to
requires.
work? I'm ready, man. I'm ready to pound the
Well,
phones. We're ready to make some calls.
and
Yeah.
last comment, and then I'll stop because I love this stuff. Going with a coach is not a shortcut, and here's what I mean by that is
It's a roadmap.
it's a roadmap, right? Like imagine if you guys are racing down a racetrack. What it is somebody in your passenger seat going, "Hey, there's a hairpin turn coming up. You need to accelerate and get into this gear. Be ready to brake and turn left." And what it's doing is it's accelerating your growth, but you're covering the same distance on the track, right? You're still going the same amount. You're just not spinning out and going off to the side now because you have someone next to you that's helping you make and navigate those things. So I hate when people say anything's a shortcut. It's not a shortcut. It's an acceleration, but you're not cutting off a corner of the track to skip over to the next part. You're just not spinning out on the side or slowing way down to make the turn because you didn't know you could do it doing 80 instead of 30. That's my other pet peeve in this business. Well, let me help you shortcut. No, I'll help you accelerate. Like I will get you to the point that I got in my business twice as fast going the same route, but now you're not going to come to all the same pitfalls, spin outs, and everything else, oil slicks that I hit on the way. Massive difference because you're still putting in all the work. You're just doing it in a more efficient manner.
Right.
Off the soapbox. I'm all out of soap.
Drops mic.
All right, y'all. Look, this is the second day of the new year. Get your goals together. Get serious, man, because ain't nobody coming to wake you up. You got to get yourself up out of bed. All right, you got to get to it. So get serious, y'all. This is the number one most valuable real estate community in existence. There is nobody else doing this kind of stuff for free. Definitely take advantage of the opportunity of the people that are actually actively listening in the audience now and the people that are actively participating in the chat. Let people know who you are, where you're at, what you're doing, and how you can collaborate together. And if you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us by sending them that link, reirev.com. All right?
And check your bank account every morning. Every morning. Check your bank account every morning. Check that checking account every morning.
This should
Every
motivate
morning.
you
Stay on
negatively
top of
or
that shit.
positively. Negatively or positively. If it's
Negative
low,
or
good.
positive. Look at it. Put that in your mind. If that doesn't motivate you, nothing will.
Keep it small, man. I mean, as much money as my businesses make, I keep less than 20,000 in my checking account at any one time because I know that's going to be drained pretty quick, and I better make more money to replace it. The rest of the
I
money's at
love
work
it.
all the
Keep
time.
I love
going.
that mentality.
I like that, Jason.
Stay hungry.
Guys, speaking
You
of
know.
followers, stay tuned. Creative REI Experience. We're going to go live with Tony Mont today. Do you guys have questions for your boy, Daddy, and Tony Mont? I know John Johnson was on the Creative Audience a few weeks ago. We're going to get Dan on there eventually if we can get him out to Cali.
Fly him out, man. Fly Dan
Uh,
out, man. You got to fly him out.
Oh,
yeah. But I got to put him up. Yeah, I got to get
Put him
the.
yeah.
on the plane,
I'm gonna need
man.
that. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that.
That
I'm gonna
red
need that.
carpet. That red carpet,
Listen.
dog.
People are going to be paying to get on the show. Watch. People are going to be paying to
Listen.
get on.
I'm gonna need that G. I'm gonna need that G550 sent straight to Opelika Airport. I'll send you the coordinates.
I got some closings today. I'm going to go handle these closings.
All right, y'all. Love
All right,
y'all.
I'll
Love
see
this
y'all.
community. Tap in, man. This is the number one real estate community in existence.